Warhammer Odyssey released exactly 1 year ago today as of making this video, and I gotta say, things have definitely improved over the year it's been around. But the question is it enough? What is up, my dwellers of the interwebs? I'm Sora, and I'll be working with Sticks on the MMOBite mobile channel. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you like our content. First things first is the characters available. There are 6 classes to choose from, with 12 specializations available. The 6 classes are the Archmage, Engineer, Shadow Warrior, Slayer, Warrior Priest, and Witch Hunter. Each of these classes has 2 specializations to choose from once you reach level 10. Also, there's no gender lock in the game. There was originally, but due to players voicing out to the developers, they decided to create 2 genders for the launch. Unfortunately, you can only make 2 characters for free. To unlock any other hero slots for you ultaholics out there will cost you money. There has been no new classes at all over the last year. I find that quite disappointing, to be honest. I'd have expected some new classes after all this time. I personally think the graphics look quite nice. The devs aren't aiming for sexy anime waifu models, and for a game like Warhammer, I'm totally fine with that. The regions are gorgeous too, and if everything wasn't trying to attack me, I'd enjoy the scenery a lot more. The graphics really give off a World of Warcraft feel, which I'm not complaining about for sure. Though, if you prefer your Asian MMOs more, this might not be for you. At least visually. The menu screen at launch wasn't the best I'd seen in an MMO, and the close menu button was weirdly placed. Thankfully, they have changed this, and instead of it being on the left-hand side in the middle of the menus, it's now up in the top right and much easier to access. Storage size is limited to 20 slots, and it seems like you need to pay for more storage. No sign yet of earning any free bag space by quest completion. The ability tree is pretty straightforward. Use your ability points to strengthen your skills and passives. The talent tree can have points assigned automatically, or you can figure it out on your own. If you're used to fast-paced action combat MMOs, then you are going to be disappointed. Warhammer Odyssey is pretty slow. The movement is slow, combat is relatively slow, even the combat animation can be slow. This, however, can depend on what class you are playing. My previous experience was with the Warrior Priest class, specializing in the tank role, and everything about the class was slow. It truly made my experience last time less than enjoyable. This time around, I made a Shadow Warrior and specialized in dual swords, and now I'm clearing mobs much faster and enjoying the game a lot more. The stealth feature helps a lot, especially since sometimes the mobs are fairly crowded, and getting swamped by mobs can lead to a bad situation very fast. So bear in mind some classes may be more of a pain than others to progress with. The zones that I experienced were quite large, lots of paths to take, and plenty of enemies to fight. Thankfully, this game is not autoplay or auto-pathing. It's a full manual mobile MMORPG. I'm so grateful for that, and there needs to be a bigger push for more MMO games to go in that direction. Let us actually play the games, not just watch it play itself. The game can be quite challenging, especially since it's hard to find a quiet spot to eat and drink to replenish your health and mana. Dying will give you a 100+ second debuff, which can be very inconvenient, so keeping an eye on your health is very important. I still can't get used to your health being at the top while enemy health is at the bottom of the screen. I keep glancing at the wrong health bars while I'm in combat. Unfortunately, there are still no dungeons in the game. They mentioned they were working on adding dungeons many months ago, and I have been waiting for them to add them in. Sadly, they still aren't present, so the end game is basically just hunting zone bosses for loot to drop. Unfortunately, the game doesn't seem very populated. I hardly saw any players around the zones. Maybe they're all in the higher maps, but for the earlier stages, the massive zones are just populated with NPCs. This can mean finding specific mobs for questing can be a lot easier, so you're not competing for a mob unlike in the early days of launch. I remember that being a giant pain. Overall, I'd say Warhammer Odyssey is still a fun game, even though the combat and combat animation might be a bit too slow for my liking. I have to give the game extra praise for not having any auto present at all and letting you actually play the game. I am worried about the lack of player base in the early regions, and I hope they bring in group content soon so that it could bring in more players to the game. But for now, it's pretty much a solo affair unless hunting for harder zone bosses. If you enjoy old world Warhammer, maybe you'll enjoy this game. It's worth a try at least. Thank you for watching. I'm Sora, and this is MMOBite Mobile. Feel free to follow me on all my socials, and you can also find me on my own YouTube channel. Links are all in the description and pinned comment below.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it.